Right now, somewhere over the Pacific and the Atlantic, US fighter pilots are already airborne, hunting, tracking, and preparing for the moment air superiority stops being theoretical and becomes decisive. These are not experimental concepts or future prototypes. They are frontline, combat-ready aircraft built for one unforgiving mission: eliminate enemy fighters before they ever become a threat. Because modern air warfare has changed. Today, victory isn't just about who turns tighter or flies faster. It's about who detects first, targets first, shoots first, and survives long enough to do it again. The United States operates more fighter aircraft than any nation on Earth, but only a handful are truly optimized to dominate enemy fighters in a high-end war. In this video, we're ranking the top 5 US fighter jets for air superiority in 2026. Starting at number 5, the FA-18EF Super Hornet. For more than 2 decades, the Super Hornet has been the backbone of US Navy carrier air wings, a reliable, combat-proven fighter that has flown everywhere from the Persian Gulf to the Western Pacific. And even today, it remains very much in the fight. The latest Block 3 upgrades have quietly kept the jet relevant. Its advanced APG-79 radar can detect enemy aircraft at long range. And through the Navy's networked combat systems, Super Hornets can share targeting data with other ships and aircraft across the fleet. With its large payload and excellent cockpit visibility, it's still a highly capable multi-role platform. But modern air superiority has become a stealth-first game, and the Super Hornet was never designed to be invisible. Even with Block 3 signature reductions, it lacks the low observable shaping needed to survive deep inside heavily defended airspace. Against advanced stealth fighters, the Super Hornet is increasingly forced to fight from the outside looking in. It's dependable, proven, and still dangerous. But in the highest-end fight, it's starting to show its age. Coming in at number 4, the modernized F-16. Few fighters in history have refused retirement quite like the F-16 Fighting Falcon. First flown in the 1970s, the Viper began life as a lightweight dogfighter. Fast, agile, and relatively simple. Fast forward to today, and the modernized F-16 is something very different. In its latest Block 70/72 and F-16V configurations, the jet carries the APG-83 active electronically scanned array radar, modern electronic warfare suites, and fully updated cockpit systems. The result is a highly capable beyond visual range fighter that is far removed from its Cold War origins. The core strengths remain. The F-16 still boasts one of the best thrust-to-weight ratios in service. Its agility is excellent, and decades of upgrades mean it can detect and engage targets at ranges that would have been unthinkable when it first entered service. It's also everywhere. Backed by the massive global F-16 fleet and decades of mature logistics, modern F-16s can generate very high sortie rates, a factor that matters enormously in sustained air campaigns. But physics and design history still impose limits. The F-16 is not stealthy. Internal fuel is limited compared to larger fighters. And in a high-end fight against advanced surface-to-air systems and fifth-generation opponents, survivability becomes a serious concern. The F-16 is still dangerous, but as the threat environment evolves, the US Air Force has also fielded fighters built for far heavier air-to-air dominance. And the next aircraft isn't just upgraded, it's built to overwhelm. Coming in at number 3, the F-15EX. If the modern battlefield needs a missile truck, the F-15EX is it. It may look familiar, but under the skin, it's a very different animal. This aircraft takes the legendary air superiority heritage of the Eagle and pushes it deep into the 21st century. Start with sheer firepower. The F-15EX can carry an enormous air-to-air missile load, far more than stealth fighters operating in internal configuration. Its powerful radar provides long-range detection, while its electronic warfare suite dramatically improves survivability in contested environments. Then there's range and persistence. With its large airframe and fuel capacity, it can stay on station longer and operate farther from base than many smaller fighters, which is a major advantage across the vast distances of the Pacific. In modern air combat doctrine, Stealth fighters break through first, clearing the path and exposing the threat. Then the Eagle II arrives to deliver the overwhelming weight of fire. But there is one unavoidable trade-off. For all its power, the F-15EX is not stealthy. Its radar cross-section is significantly larger than 5th generation fighters, meaning it relies heavily on electronic warfare, standoff tactics, and teamwork to survive in the highest threat zones. It's the muscle of this ranking, built to overwhelm, not finesse. But the aircraft that follows didn't just improve the battlefield, it transformed the way air superiority is achieved. Coming in at number 2, the F-35A Lightning II. The F-35 wasn't designed to be the fastest fighter in the sky. It was designed to see everything first. And in modern air warfare, information is often more decisive than raw speed or maneuverability. At the heart of the aircraft is sensor fusion. Instead of forcing the pilot to manage separate radar, infrared, and electronic warfare feeds, the F-35 combines everything into a single, coherent picture of the battle space. Its radar, distributed aperture system, and advanced electronic support measures work together to deliver extraordinary situational awareness. In practical terms, it creates the 3 advantages every fighter wants: first look, first shot, and first kill. Its stealth design allows it to penetrate heavily defended airspace and detect threats long before being detected itself. Its data-sharing capability turns individual fighters into nodes in a much larger combat network. And the jet keeps improving. Continuous software updates and Block 4 upgrades are steadily expanding weapons, sensors, and electronic warfare performance. So, why isn't it number 1? Because while the F-35 is extraordinarily capable in air-to-air combat, it was designed to balance strike, ISR, and electronic attack roles alongside air combat. The aircraft at number 1 was built with a far narrower and more ruthless priority: pure air dominance, and that still matters at the very highest end of the fight. Coming in at number 1, the F-22 Raptor. Even today, the benchmark for air superiority remains the F-22 Raptor. From the beginning, the Raptor had one mission above all others: destroy advanced enemy fighters and guarantee control of the skies. Unlike later multi-role designs, the Raptor was engineered first and foremost for air dominance. The result is still formidable. Its stealth shaping delivers extremely low observability. Its radar provides powerful long-range detection, and its super cruise capability allows sustained supersonic flight without afterburner, preserving fuel and reducing infrared signature. But what truly separates the Raptor is the combination: stealth, speed, altitude, and thrust vectoring maneuverability. In high-end air combat, that mix is exceptionally difficult to counter. The Raptor can enter contested airspace, detect threats early, engage at long range, and, if necessary, outmaneuver opponents in close combat. And despite its age, continuous upgrades to sensors, weapons, and networking are keeping the Raptor firmly in the top tier of global air combat. Still, the story isn't without tension. The fleet is relatively small. Production ended years ago, and the aircraft is gradually moving toward the later stages of its service life, which raises a bigger question about the future of American air superiority. If this ranking reveals anything, it's that modern air dominance is no longer about a single, perfect fighter. It's about the system. Stealth platforms like the F-22 and F-35 are built to see first and survive first contact. Heavy hitters like the F-15EX bring overwhelming missile capacity. Proven multi-role fighters like the Super Hornet and modern F-16 provide mass, flexibility, and global presence. In a real high-end conflict, none of these aircraft would fight alone. They would fight together, networked, coordinated, and layered across the battle space. And on the horizon, the U.S. Air Force's next-generation air dominance program promises to push the equation even further. But for now, if the mission is absolute control of the skies in 2026, the F-22 Raptor still holds the crown. So, what do you think? Did we get the ranking right? Or is there a fighter here that deserves to move up? Let us know in the comments. Thank you for watching.